Hello and welcome back to my little cozy corner. Today we are in the coziest corner of my apartment. So grab a drink, bake some cookies, grab a cozy sweater, and let's get cozy and let's get chatting. Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about the books that I read in April. I actually got through quite a few books. I was really surprised. My goal was to only at least read 3. And so I did read 3, and I'm very proud of myself. The first book I read in April was The Right Move. Oh, I was so excited that I read this one. I am loving this series. I am so ecstatic to read the next one. I haven't found the next one yet. My local Barnes & Noble didn't have it, and so I think I'm gonna have to order it, which I don't wanna wait, but I'm probably gonna have to. But I read The Right Move, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was okay. I loved the tropes. I loved it. It was like sunshine and like grumpy. Sunshine and grumpy, yeah, those are the tropes. Sunshine and grumpy. I like that it's kind of like best friend's brother a little bit. And so that was fun. I am loving books that have representation of men's mental health in it. And so in this one, he was having panic attacks and anxiety, and I think he was going to therapy. He needed it. I didn't like I don't know. There was this. So it was fake dating. And the reason they were fake dating was for this wedding that was coming up. And when they got to the wedding, which was like the whole purpose that they were fake dating, I was like, this is gonna be a big moment. Like something's big is gonna happen. This is what the plot is leading to. It's gotta be big. There's gonna be drama. There's gonna be something. No. There wasn't really any drama at the wedding. And the wedding was over in like 2 pages. And nothing really happened at the wedding other than that they had sex. Yeah, the 2, yeah. So it was okay. I would recommend this book. I would recommend it to anyone who likes basketball romances and the fake dating trope. It felt like I was reading a book about my friends. And so when I got to the end of the book, I was like, oh, good for you. Oh, that's so great for you, honey. Like, I'm so happy for you. And so sometimes when I read books, I can see myself as the characters. And in this one, I could not see myself as either of the characters. So I really struggled with that on this one. But I'm happy I read it. It was 4 out of 5 stars. I would recommend this series to just about anyone who likes contemporary romance. So, would recommend. The second book I read in April was the book club book of the month for Swoonworthy's bookstore? Swoonworthy's book club? I don't know what they want to be called. Swoonworthy is a book club started by 2 sisters here in Minnesota, and they also, in addition to their bookstore, they opened a book club. And I've been going to it. It's been really fun. I've been meeting some new friends, mostly girls. I wasn't going there in anticipation to meet men, but I've been having fun. So April's book club, book of the month, that is so difficult for me to say, was Fight, which is, where is it? Okay. The Skyridge series, volume 1. I heard that the author was from Minnesota, so that was really fun to find out. And then someone in my book club was doing research, and she was researching the series because there's 3 books in this series, and they're each written by a different author, which is super fascinating. Like, we were all talking about how we would have loved to sat in on that meeting and like hear what they had to say and like how that went. But so this is book 1. Then there's Protect, which is book 2, and then Honor, which is book 3. And like I said, they're each by different authors. So yeah, apparently books 1, 2, and 3 were all released within the same week. And so they had to have been working together, like having meetings and being like, okay, you're gonna talk about that firefighter, I'm gonna get this firefighter, oh, you can have that trope. I wanted to sit in on the meetings where like they had a barter and like trade for like tropes. They're like, no, I want, oh gosh, now I can't think of any tropes. No, I want Sunshine and Grumpy. No, I want Sunshine and Grumpy. I'll give you Sunshine and Grumpy for fake dating. Like, what would you barter for? Which one, if you had to only read one trope the rest of your life and you had to give up all the rest, which trope would you read the rest for like the rest of your life? I don't know which one I would do. I do enjoy fake dating. I do like that trope. Let's just go with fake dating for right now. I might change my mind later. But Fight was the book club book of the month. I made little cue cards of what I thought of every book. So I have the memory of a goldfish. I have a friend who's like in therapy. Well, she's like a therapist and she's like done all this like psychology work. And I was talking to her the other day and I made a joke and she's like, ah, ADHD, I get you. And I was like, do I? Am I? Wait, my therapist hasn't been telling me something. No, I'm not. Am I? It's okay if I am. There's nothing wrong with it. But okay, speaking of which, what was I talking about? I made these cue cards and I'm starting this thing. I'm gonna put them in the books and then I'm gonna put them on my shelf. And then when people come over and they're like, oh, hey, have you read that book? I can be like, I can't remember. Let's say there's a cue card. Cue card means I read it and it has my ideas on it, like my thoughts and stuff. So, fun fact, if you have a memory of a goldfish or ADHD, this might be a fun way to keep track of your things, like your books and thoughts and stuff. Let's actually talk about this book now. Okay, I rated it 3 stars. It was okay. It wasn't horrible. It was a fun, good time. It was a fun, good time. I really liked the MMC, especially towards the end and how hard he was fighting for their relationship. Like, I thought that was so romantic. The big gestures he was doing. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. I'm being kind of vague about it. But like the big gestures, the banter, if you like banter and fighting, you are gonna like this book. There is so much banter. And they're kind of mean to each other too. It's not a bully romance, but there's a lot of arguing. There's a lot of banter. So I did like those things. The things I didn't like, I wanted more from it. As we talked about this in book club, but in the very beginning, they had a whole glossary because it's about hot shots. So the firefighters in north, south, east, west coast, in like the west coast. And I don't know, there's like special words. And so there's like this huge glossary that goes 3 pages. And then there's like a diagram of like their jobs and stuff. There's also a playlist. That was fun. And so I thought that we were gonna get a ton of firefighting. I thought like there was gonna be just like almost every chapter of just firefighting, but we only got 2 scenes and they were okay. They helped the plot, they made sense, but I was just expecting a little more firefighting, considering it's a firefighting book. Firefighter book. I also think that it could have been fleshed out more because they had so much trauma. They had a lot of trauma and they could have, oh my gosh, this book probably could have, itself, could have been probably another 100 pages. Like I would have read another 100 pages of this book of just these 2 characters because they had such the most interesting dynamic, and then they also had a really interesting backstories to each other, and so that would have been really interesting to dive deeper into those. I feel like it resolved fairly quickly, which is fine. I would recommend this book. I would recommend it to people who are outdoorsy and they love smut. There's a ton of smut right in the beginning. It's very heavy on the smut. Yeah. Not the smuttiest book I've read, but there's a decent amount in it. Okay. So that was the second book I read. The third book, so after I read Fight, I was really wanting and feel like I was just pining for a werewolf romance. When I really got into reading back in like middle school, I read Wattpad fan fictions. I might have written some, guilty as charged. Don't try and look them up. They're horrible. But I used to love reading werewolf fanfics, and I was just really craving one after reading Fight, and so I went out and bought one. It's not wise for my budget, not wise for my wallet, but I went a couple days. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna force myself to read one of the books on my shelf, and I just wasn't enjoying it. And I was like, this is a good book. I want to enjoy it, and I'm not enjoying it right now because it's not what I want to be reading. And so I bought it. I bought A Rebel Without Claws, which is the new Juliet Cross series. And this one just came out, I think this year. Yeah, it just came out this year. And I'm really liking Juliet Cross's writing style. I think that might be one of like my favorite authors, actually. Oh my gosh, am I committing to this? Am I in a committed relationship now with an author? Oh my god. I'm taking that next step. But this is book 1 in Southern Charm, and it was so cute. It was exactly what I was looking for. It was exactly the type of reading that I grew up reading, and I just loved it. I loved it so much. So that's why it's a 5-star read for me. It was exactly what I was looking for. It's just a happy, low stakes, just a happy, romantic book with werewolves and witches. It is in connection to her first series, which is Stay a Spell, which I haven't finished reading. I need to finish reading that. But the second book in that series was between a vampire and a witch, and I was just not in the mood for vampires. I'm totally a Jacob. In Twilight, Jacob was my man. I was a Jacob girly. But anyways, I really wanted a werewolf. It was exactly what I was looking for. So 5-star read. I loved everything about it. I love opposites attract, and this is what this was. There was magic. I liked the kind of magic. There was multiple parts where she used her magic to like calm him down. Like she just like expelled a calming spell to him. And so it's so cute. I just loved it. He was like getting all frustrated, and he was like, oh, my woman, like she's calming me down, like that's my woman. And and it was fated mates as well, which I also really like that trope. But this was just like a happy read. It just made me happy. How many times can I say happy? It was interesting because she's a therapist and he's a cage fighter. And so that was really cool too. I don't like cage fighting, but it was interesting how they wrote that into a story. And it wasn't super gory. I was worried that it was going to be super gory, but if you're someone who can't handle blood and guts and stuff, you're good. You should be able to handle this. At one point, there's like one little cut. You'll be fine. I hope you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine without knowing you. Yeah, what else? Yeah, I would recommend this. I would recommend this to everyone. I absolutely loved it. And you don't have to read her first series in order to understand this. I think it helps because they do, because the characters in her first series show up here. So it's so cute when you're reading it and you're like, oh, I know that person. They're in it. So it's super cute. Anyways, I'm gonna digress because I could talk about this for probably another 30 minutes. Okay, and then the last, so I read this one in like a day and a half. Like I read this in less than 24 hours. Yeah, so it was a super quick read, but I also didn't have anything to do one day because I was sick, and so I just sat in bed and I read 300 pages in a day. So I needed something next to read, but I didn't want to start my May TBR because it wasn't May yet. So I went to the library, and I have been hearing people talk about this series, and I know there's a TV show about it, and I was really interested in it, but I didn't want to buy it unless I knew I liked it. And so I went to the library, and they had the first 2 books in Heartstopper. So this was so warm and cozy and just delightful. That is the word I'm gonna use, delightful. And I just loved. Like, I liked the color, the pastel blue, and it's a really sweet story. And it's not really high stakes either. I didn't get like super anxious reading it or anything. Sometimes I get really invested in stories and my heart rate races with the character. So this is not the case. These are slow, and it had me kicking my feet. It had me giggling and squealing and kicking my feet, and it was exactly how I wanted to end April. It was absolutely adorable. And I give it 4.5 stars. Yeah, it's not a 5-star read for me, but 4.5. I would recommend this. I'd recommend it to a lot of people, a lot of different people. I recommended it to my friend who is in a reading slump, because did she just finish Fourth Wing? I think she just finished Fourth Wing, and she was in the middle of a reading slump. And so I recommended, I was like, hey, just read a graphic novel. Because I read book 1, I think in 30 to 45 minutes. And so I got that instant gratification of like, I finished a book. And so it kind of like kicked me and like made me feel more excited to pick up another book. So if you're in a reading slump, I recommend Heartstopper and or any graphic novel to help you get out of the reading slump. But yeah, those were all the books I read for April. I am, like I said, I am very proud of myself for having read 4 or 5 books in the month. And so I hope you all are meeting your reading goals. And if not, I hope you're giving yourself grace and being kind to yourselves. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got cozy, and I hope the rest of your day is cozy and comfortable, and I hope you stick around. Like and subscribe. Love ya!